Hello, Midlife Nerded here and welcome. We're back in setup territory again this week in episode 7 of Andor, the announcement. The pace does slip back into a more sedate character, following on from the TIE fighter, meteor chase and heist of last week. This was always going to be tough, especially as this is effectively another character development piece. Episode 7 is almost resetting the chessboard, and I can't help but imagining everyone screaming, "Places, please!" We get stormtroopers, droids and aliens in this episode, albeit not for very long, and even a starfighter thingy. I don't know the technical term. Because of the weekly scheduling of Dismal Plus in 43-minute runtime episodes, not including the credits, it feels a bit wonky again. This so needs to be released as either a mini feature, 1 hour 45, or in 3 episode sets. I do think Dismal Plus are damaging the show's viewership and ultimately success by having this algorithm-based weddedness to weekly drops. The reason I find this so exasperating is because when Andor is good, it really is quite good. There will be spoilers ahead. Cassian is now back home to sort through the fallout and wreckage of the end of episode 3's debacle. After last week's blowout on Aldhani, both Rebel and Empire alike are tallying their gains and losses. It's made clear that the actions of nicking that payroll haven't so much set off a small alarm as a giant foghorn, and it's sheer legislative fury that the Empire will retaliate with, and taxes. And we all hate taxes. Much of this episode's runtime is setting up the retribution that is heading everyone's way. Everyone may well be innocent people, not even tied to the cause, something that doesn't sit well with Mon Mothma in a fantastically nuanced scene at Luthen's shop. Luthen and Mon Mothma have a row on whether it needed to be done, especially as the little people who are nothing to do with the Empire rebels will suffer. This is quite a smart move by the showrunner's writers in showing the grown-up and dirtier side of what has to happen for people to rise up against the Empire. One man's rebel is another man's terrorist. Genevieve O'Reilly is devout in her righteousness, as is Luthen in the necessity of some people having to get hurt before anyone will truly resist. And let's face it, he has a bloody point. The Empire has effectively been boiling a frog for a while in the galaxy at this time. Mon Mothma also has one of the loveliest wardrobes I've ever seen, and I loved the costuming for the dinner party where she's trying to drum up old friend support, and it's all doublespeak and smiles, with Mon Mothma effectively gliding between politicking and party host in a knockout dress and killer heels. There's a great line about the Empire, making you look at the rock in your hand whilst not realising they have a knife at your throat. Meanwhile, at the ISB, the Empire is stamping its foot, and Denise Gough, who I wasn't that keen on when this show started out, excels as the snarling Dedra Miro. Her performance as a villain is far more believable than some other shouty characters that we've had in previous Dismal Plus shows, not naming anyone in particular. Reva. There's a high noon scene with accusations from some very bureaucratic colleagues, and she shows her working out, hands in her receipts, capped with a nice smug smile. My favourite security chap is also back, and Cyril Khan is playing with his cereal again, and having so little action in 4 episodes, it does make you wonder how they're going to pay this off, or keep your attention with this character. He does go and get a job in this galaxy's equivalent of corporate hell, in a department where it's obvious that this is the place where hopes and dreams go to die. Luthen's red-robed associate delivers a new mission to Vel, looking rather nice having had a bath and a wardrobe change, to off Cassian. The ice-cold way this line is delivered is great. This is what revolution looks like. Plus, you get the foreshadowing that the rebellion are going to have to bathe their hands in muck for the greater good. Cass, meanwhile, would love nothing more than to up sticks with everyone he cares about to somewhere warm and easy, and there's mention of his sister again. Stormtroopers are now patrolling the streets of his hometown, and we get character development for foster mum Marva, with Fiona Shaw delivering some top-tier acting as she expresses both her care for him and simultaneously her hate for the Empire. And she's not going anywhere. We then get Star Wars at the seaside, with Cassian at a resort getaway. There's a bit of humour and brightness here, and even a few aliens. There's also a hint of a beat and the closest thing we've had to dancey style music. This being Cassian, we all know it can't last more than a few minutes, as he promptly gets arrested and faces the repercussions that his heist has wrought, being sentenced to 6 years in prison. In conclusion, we knew this was set up again in the story arc, but the episode does a great job fleshing out both Luthen in his ruthlessness and Mon Mothma in her moral code. Whilst not the most exciting action, we do get a big Starship Destroyer thing flying over Cinta, which is cool. Stormtroopers, droids, a lot more aliens, even if only briefly, and blue mix cereal. If this is all Cyril eats, no wonder he always looks so moody. I'm interested to see where they go with the show, as there will be a build-up episode next, which I suspect will be to break Cass out of jail. And whether that's the rebels breaking him out or him breaking himself out is anybody's guess. Whilst the speed and pace of this episode will not be to everyone's taste, I really enjoyed it. I still think they have that whole peril bit with Cass, as we know he's never really in any, but I still enjoyed the character development and nuanced dialogue. The physical sets, production values and cinematography are just divine, including the costuming. Mon Mothma, you are slaying, lady. I'm just sad I have to wait a week for the next instalment. A very solid 7 out of 10. Hi, I've been Midlife Nerded. You know what to do. It helps YouTube's algorithm know that I exist.